Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for November 9th, 2019. As always, please consider subscribing and ring the bell notifications and looking in the description for other videos of mine with superior weather content they won't find anywhere else. And thank you guys for tuning into this video. And today we're going to be talking about the winter storm that'll be coming in early next week to the North Central, the Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast, as well as parts of the Mid-South could get affected. We're going to be talking about who will see what, whether it's rain, snow, freezing rain, sleet, and the timing, and all that stuff we're going to cover in this video. Now, just note that we are still, for some people, 2 or 3 days away, so this could still change. But luckily, I've gotten all the latest model runs, most of them about the 18Z model runs for a lot of these models, so hopefully you can get all those analyzed. So, let's get started. Here's the satellite loop right now, and you could probably say that this is part of the storm, but I think that most of the storm is actually back here still, because I don't think this is going to go from here to here by Tuesday. I think that's going to be a little bit too slow. But most of the energy of the storm, the storm's probably sitting out there, at the low pressure maybe sitting like right over there in the Pacific, and you can see it's kind of riding along some kind of a jet stream. Kind of something like this, because you get that moisture over here that's riding up along it. And you also got everything moving this way. And I know it was pretty warm today, actually, in this area. We're in the 70s in the southern plains. And we also, let me get back. And we also have a little subtropical jet kind of coming something like this. Okay. So you got a little more, some kinds of moisture coming together. Trying to get a little upper level low, spin down there in California, but it's just giving you some dry air. And the moisture is just trying to make it into Southern California. And you can see, we do almost kind of like have a high pressure, essentially. That's basically, if you end of the loop, you can kind of see those whitish clouds just drive south all of a sudden. They come out of nowhere and they just smash their way south. Okay, and that's because of the high pressure. It's kind of pushing all that stuff southward. Or, yeah, put all that cold air and dry air southward. Same with this. Okay? And you also got some of that subtropical jet kind of having some overlapping winds a little bit, overlapping clouds there. So that's where the storm is right now, probably somewhere in the northeastern Pacific Ocean, getting ready to come to the United States. Now, you're gonna. I'm sure if you're familiar with Pivotal Weather, if not, it's a pretty similar website to the Tropical Tidbits. You're going to start to see me use this a lot more now, because it does finally have the European model and no really cost at all. And this is the European high resolution model on Pivotal Weather. So I'm still going to use Tropical Tidbits, but you'll start to see me use this a lot more now, especially with the European model. Like what I used to do was go to windy.com, and then if you clicked Rain Thunder over here, you could just see that the European model down there. Maybe we might still look at that if we have extra time. So let's minus this a little bit. And here's the European high resolution model. This is the 12Z run. Remember, they still 0 and 12Z runs. So we got a new run tomorrow morning. And some heavy snow coming through Ohio. And then it just kind of fades away. If you're over here in the Mid-Atlantic and you're thinking, yeah, we got all this snow. And then it's like you look 6 hours later and it's gone, pretty much. But we could end as a little bit of snow and sleet, as you'll see in my forecast later for the Mid-Atlantic parts of Delmarva, especially the northern part, Delaware, Philadelphia, New Jersey. I think we could certainly end in some snowflakes at the very least. Could it stick a little bit? Yeah, but it's not going to amount to really much at all. So once that clears on out of here, here's a snowfall for the... And remember, European high resolution is basically the same thing as the European model, basically. So... in terms of snowfall totals, again, the target area is going to be the lake effect snow areas. This does include lake effect snow, especially for this area I just highlighted. About 5 to 8 inches, maybe some 10-inch totals up upstate New York, maybe Maine. You could see near a foot, especially in Canada. But you could even see, we're talking about a half-inch to an inch, according to the European model, for eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. And southeastern Pennsylvania has the best chance in this specific region that I highlighted. Okay, in that little black area right there, southeastern Pennsylvania would have the best chance to get closer to an inch. But northwestern Pennsylvania has an even greater chance. They're going to get past a few inches. Let's look now. Same model, European high resolution. Let's look at the north central United States in the Great Lakes. So you can see we have a little band of snow that's making its way through. All a bunch of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. It's making its way through. And as you can see, there's our storm system coming by. So let's time this out for you. About 2 o'clock in the morning, Monday, a lot of you were still sleeping. Snow to the north, around Des Moines, Iowa, St. Louis, and Topeka, Kansas, Kansas City, pretty much rain to the south. Kind of two little separated areas, right? Kind of think of this as coming from the jet stream. This is kind of coming from the subtropical jet stream. Eventually, they gotta start coming together, and that's where they do. And once that area of just snow and that area of just rain kind of collide, and that's where to get a little bit of snow or a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, especially just northwest of St. Louis and part of Kansas City. But Chicago gets some pretty moderate snowfall out of this, probably some plowing snow, at least according to the European model thus far. And you're gonna get some intense lake effect bands behind us, according to the European model here. So once those lake effect bands finally die, here are the snowfall totals. Let's do it through 90 hours just for this area. And the European model is called for St. Louis about 1.5 inches, maybe close to 2 inches. Especially if you head west of town, you have about 2 inches. Chicago could even get 3 to 5 inches. Downtown Chicago, O'Hare, maybe 4 inches. But on the western shore of Michigan, those lake effect bands, 6 inches. About 7 inches from northeastern Ohio. Near Alpena, Michigan, I believe, or closer to the coast like Ann Arbor, about 5 to 8 inches, especially like right on the coast of eastern Michigan. Some popular towns here, Indianapolis could get 2 or 3 inches. Cincinnati, probably 1 inch or 2 if you're lucky. So that is it for the Midwest area. Now let's look at the NAM model for the northeastern United States. And this is really interesting because they're showing if you live along the I-95 corridor, you're going to want to see this. So NAM is a little bit more, I'm going to admit, I love looking at the NAM model. It does have a little bit of a cold bias, but it's something like the CFS with their warm bias. No, this isn't that bad, but it does have a little bit of a cold bias. Okay, so we do see a mix of snow and rain coming into northern New England, especially upstate New York, and even get some lake effect rain. Yes, that is the thing. I mean, lake effect snow, you can have lake effect rain. Just lake effect rain is basically lake effect snow. It's just warm enough, so it's rain, basically. It's basically what it is. The same kind of thing. All generated from the lake's precipitation. So then we see a nice big batch of snow develop from parts of Kentucky all the way up through Maine. And so far, nothing's really looking wrong with this because you got your low sitting right here and you have your cold front sitting right here. So behind it, you're going to get snow. And I heard on the Weather Channel this morning, and it's true, but the cold front in the summertime, out ahead of it, you got that warm flow, thunderstorms, severe weather. But in the winter, fall, but in the winter, and we get these snowstorms, sometimes it's going to, especially in this case, it's going to be on the back side. The worst part is going to be on the back side of that front. And like I said, closer to that rain snow line, those big snowflakes, but we're going to have, warm temperatures already. But with those bigger snowflakes closer to the rain snow line, some really heavy snow for northern Pennsylvania. But then watch this. Starts out as rain for that 95 quarter, okay? Philly down to D.C., you're raining. Okay, New York, not really. We got some sleet and freezing rain there. Places like Lancaster up through Worcester, Mass. And just like that, you got some rain. Boom, it's over to snow. Now, it's not really looking too probable of that happening. If I can see other models latch onto this, or if I can see that when I wake up tomorrow for the 0 and 6D model runs of the NAM, if they can consistently show this, then yeah. We do have some, I do believe pink is freezing rain. I do believe. Yes, pink is freezing rain and purple is sleet. And you can see we got some sleet and freezing rain, Newark, New Jersey, in Boston, just west of town. Okay, just north of Bar Harbor, Maine there, towards Bangor. And then, boom, it goes right to snow for the I-95 corridor from Philly. I don't even think D.C. would switch over to rain. If anything, maybe Wilmington, Philly, maybe Trenton, New Jersey could switch over to snow. But D.C. and all the way down Virginia, it's possible, but not looking all that likely. And Boston, we're still in sleet and freezing rain for you guys. And look at this, still snow, and then it pulls out. Okay, it's done. So, we look at the total snowfall for the NAM 12 km. I would show you NAM 3 km, however, they only go out 60 hours, and 84 hours was just enough for the NAM 12 km. So, that's the only one I'm going to show for now, but maybe tomorrow afternoon or whenever I do my next video, maybe Monday, then I would show you the NAM 3 km for sure. So 1 to 3 inches is possible. Okay, a little bullish there. They're saying DC could pick up 4 inches. No, don't. See, this is why the NAM gets a little bit bullish sometimes. I could see places like Philly and northern Delaware and southeastern Pennsylvania getting an inch or two, but DC getting 4 inches is just not likely. That's why I really don't like this model. But I do like it because, I'm a snow lover, but still, I mean, even though I love snow, I gotta tell the truth or what I think is true, not just always go with the snowiest model. Cleveland could get a foot, not really looking likely, but it's pretty close, probably about 5 to 8, maybe even 9 inches for you guys. So that's for the NAM 12KM. Now keeping that same model and taking it over to the north central and Midwest like we did before. All right, here we go. So there's that little band of rain and snow that the what was it? Oh yeah, European model was showing. A little snow and rain. It's gonna phase its way to the east overnight tonight, and it's just gonna dissipate. But that's not even part of the storm system. That is just part of what we have going on here, and that could generate a little bit of rain and snow. But and the NAM still, yes, we are. And there comes the snow from the north. It's gonna push down like a snow plow. It's gonna plow its way across, and from, again, Des Moines, Iowa through Chicago to Detroit, you got some snow. Maybe some on the southern fringes of that band, you can see some rain developing. And then it just moves its own way out of here. That's it. So with the NAM model for this region, let's take it through its total snowfall. Let's go all the way over. 84 hours out. And they're showing actually significantly less snowfall for the Midwest and more for the East. Chicago might only get 2 to 3 inches according to this model. Indianapolis an inch or 2. More for Cincinnati, 3 inches. Cleveland again a foot again. Northwestern Michigan, UP Michigan maybe 10 to 12 inches. Ann Arbor, Michigan maybe about 6 to 8. Des Moines might barely get anything, maybe an inch if you're lucky. St. Louis up to an inch. Southern Illinois inch or 2. Peoria, Illinois inch. So, I mean, they're kind of taking the snow from the Midwest and kind of transferring it to the east a little bit, kind of, sort of. Let's kind of look at the temperatures, though. Let's go back to the east. And let's kind of look at the temperatures, because, I mean, I only had a few maps set up, so we can kind of, 925 millibars. That's pretty close to the surface. Okay. So let's take it through Monday. So we only need Tuesday. There we go. So here's Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you can see how long do we... And remember, the more that millibar number goes up, the closer it is to the surface. Actually, let's look at 850 millibars. So 850 millibars is about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. So if snow is going to develop, it's pretty much going to fall from that height, basically. Can it develop? You look at 850 millibar temperatures when you're looking at, is it cold enough for snow to develop? You're looking at the surface temperatures and the 925 millibar temperatures. 925 millibar is basically almost at the surface, but probably maybe the height of a house, maybe a little bit higher than that. That's pretty much 925 millibars, close, very close to the surface, maybe a little bit higher than that. And so 850 millibars is kind of where the snow forms, and 925 is like right before it gets to the ground as it's approaching, and then surface is obviously when it hits the ground. So let's actually take a look real quick according to the NAM. 5,000 feet temperatures. I'm not quite sure what 925 millibars is in feet. There's no like exact conversion. You can probably look on windy.com real quick. Let's actually find out. So, yeah, so I did look. So 925 millibars is 2,500 feet. So kind of close to the ground. It's probably about, maybe taller than some trees. But 1,000 millibars would be the height of houses and trees and stuff. So let's look at 5,000 feet. I know I'm kind of drying you on. So here's Tuesday. Let's start at 8 p.m. Monday night. And can I have my drawing tool, please? Thank you. All right. So here's 8 p.m. And basically the dark blue line is basically your freezing line. Freezing line, excuse me. Because this is in Celsius. Why? I don't know. So basically follow your freezing line. Okay. Even dark green, it's like 33, 34. We could have some snow come out of this. Even in the dark green shading. But still, look at the blue as your freezing line. When that stuff really comes through. Okay, here we go. So now, this is Tuesday, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, keep in mind, this is 5,000 feet. So if you're looking and you're seeing the pinks and dark purples like, oh, negative 23 Celsius. No, this is 5,000 feet. This is not the surface. And again, here's this freezing line, and it kind of bends west a little bit, or kind of the way you guys are looking at me, tilting kind of this way. So basically, like, even though West Virginia is southwest of Massachusetts, they're getting that cold air first because it's kind of tilting a little bit, so to speak. Okay, so like even like Kentucky and Tennessee, that's why Tennessee has a better chance of seeing snow than a place like Delaware or Maryland, because even though they're farther south in latitude lines, it's kind of tilting like this, the front, and kind of those western areas are going to get, even if they're farther south, they can get the snow first. So that's Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Here we go. This is 11 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday. And there's our freezing line right on the doorstep. At least the 5,000 feet, the freezing line is right on the doorstep. Right on top of northern Delaware, getting into Philly, not quite New York and Boston. You guys are further east. But Washington, D.C., according to this model, it's already, so you can have snow already. Okay, this is 11 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. You guys, 5,000 feet. And then boom, there it comes. And by 2 o'clock, the freezing line at 5,000 feet is right on top of New York and has yet to approach Boston. But see, the thing is with Boston is that it's going to come, the precipitation will come later because you're farther east. So it's pretty much the same thing overall. And then during this period, we could transition a little bit of snow in the I-95 corridor, and then it just gets really cold. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. Now let's go to 925 millibars. Now remember, this is the temperatures at 2,500 feet. What I just showed you was 5,000 feet. So this is basically showing you on its way down, and basically at the temperature is before it hits the ground almost, the snow. So here we go. Let's start you off again at Tuesday, or Monday night, 8 o'clock. Again, there's your 32-degree line in terms of 2,500 feet. And it's all about those temperatures and how the temperature and the precipitation align. When does which come in first? We get some precipitation. For the I-95 corridor, if you want a better chance of seeing snow, you better hope the precipitation comes later in the day, because for a place like where I live, the high temperature in the morning on Tuesday will be about 45. And the temperatures will crash throughout the day as opposed to going up, because Monday night's going to be about 40 degrees. So Tuesday will be a high of about 45 in the early morning. And as we head throughout the day, by the afternoon, it could be crashing to below freezing. And by the nighttime, it could be 19, 20 degrees. So, pretty drastic drop. So, again, this is 2 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday now. Alright, and you can see that rain snow line coming through Scranton, Mount Pocono. And this one doesn't have it tilting that far west yet. We don't have that west tilt that has places like D.C. and West Virginia getting it first. I mean, in terms of 925 millibars, it's almost on top of Boston already, and not even quite at West Virginia. So let's go to Tuesday morning now. Okay, it really hasn't moved all that much. So 8 o'clock in the morning, that 32-degree line, we're still waiting on it for the big cities. D.C., you're getting awfully close. West Virginia is starting to make that western tilt now. So West Virginia, you're already in it. Here's 11 o'clock, and you can see that dark green is starting to take over this area. And that's enough for at least some ice and maybe even some snow to fall. Okay, but again, that 32-degree line is knocking on Philly's doorstep. It's past D.C. It's not quite to New York and Boston yet. Okay, and definitely by 5 o'clock p.m., all the big cities will be at least at 2,500 feet. But I mean, by this time, the precipitation's over, so it's kind of like womp-womp. But then it's like going to be kind of like a flash freeze. What is a flash freeze? Well, let's take a look at winter storm things to consider. So this is my winter storm map, things to consider. 5 things to consider for this winter storm coming through. Again, starting Monday in the Great Lakes, Monday night through the probably the mid-south, maybe the interior northeast, and Tuesday it makes its way to the east coast. Alright, so winter storm things to consider. I-95 will be mostly rain, but as I showed you in some models, it can briefly transition to a period of sleet and snow before the storm wraps up, but only for cities like Philly, New York, and Boston. Washington, D.C., you're just warmer than most I-95 cities. I mean, between Washington, D.C., Philly, New York, and Boston, of course, Washington, D.C. is going to be the warmer out of the 4. So, I mean, even though some of the models, especially at the NAM, are saying, they're really confident in saying that Washington, D.C. could see a few inches of snow, it's just not possible. Okay. I mean, I mean, let me take that back. It is possible, but it's very low likelihood at this point. All right, number 2. Some lake effect snow after the main storm will enhance snowfall totals from Detroit, Michigan to Syracuse, New York, and places in between, such as Erie, Pennsylvania. So if you saw near the lakes that your snowfall total was 10 inches, well, probably a few inches of that was going to come from the main storm, a few inches from the lake effect. Again, lake effect is very localized, okay? I mean, we could have 20 inches by the time it's all said and done if we get a nice lake effect band in there. They could produce 4 or 5 inches an hour. And back to the I-95 topic, if you get any snow on the backside, it'll be an inch, maybe 2 at most for the cities. All right, 3. Snow has a chance to fall as far south as Nashville, Tennessee, where less than an inch of snow or up to an inch of snow and ice is expected in Nashville. Okay, Smoky Mountains could even see 1 to 2 inches of snow. A place like Asheville, North Carolina. High elevations of the Northeast, as number 4, will remain snow and ice, but may briefly be rain during the start of the storm. But high elevations of the Northeast will definitely be mostly snow and ice. And number 5, a flash freeze is possible, meaning that wet roads like Tennessee, like Nashville, could have a flash freeze. Let me explain. Okay, early part of Tuesday, or Monday, excuse me, it's going to be 60 degrees and rain. Oh, not bad. But guess what? Monday night's going to fall to 20 degrees with some snow and even mixing with some sleet. So when you get that temperature crashing down that quickly and you got some wet roads, they're going to rapidly freeze over, if not frozen already. So from Midtown to the Northeast and Great Lakes, that is definitely possible. All right, now let's go back. Actually, let me show you my forecast. So this is Sunday evening, okay? And as you can see, we do have that low pressure system. Let me get out my drawing tool for a sec. So we do have that low pressure system. It's going to be checking across. We can see some snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Rain far south in the southern plains. Oops, wrong button. All right, now let's look at Monday. Okay, I didn't quite want to put totals on yet. I was kind of running out of time. And we can see that snow here. We can even see some freezing rain and some wintry mix for St. Louis. Just note that this could still change. This has a lot of time to change. I mean, we're talking about 48 hours of models to go. Well, 48 hours is kind of like, basically like, 8 model runs, maybe, depending on which one you're looking at. Some freezing rain is possible out ahead of it towards, places like Asheville, North Carolina, but that's probably not that likely. So that's your Monday forecast. Just kind of look at where you are. Actually, since I forgot, let's go back to Sunday. I'll zoom in for you so you can kind of get a better look at it. Okay, here's your key over there. Are we good? All right, good. Let's go over to Monday now and zoom in so you can get your nice view. Okay, and we won't be approaching 95 quarter again until like Tuesday. Okay, Northern Maine, don't get upset if you're not colored in. Yes, you are colored in here. I'll just shade you in right there. We all good? All right, good. All right, let's go to Tuesday finally. All right. Now, the reason I did put wintry mix for the I-95 quarter from western suburbs of New York down to Philly and Wilmington is because the rain will change over the mix. It won't be a mix the whole time. Obviously, if you start out with rain and end with snow, there's got to be a period of ice in between. Rarely does it go from rain right to snow. Okay, and there's like a little mixing line right in between there. Okay, so that's my forecast. Let's go back to some models really briefly, and we'll just wrap it up. Here's a GFS model. Okay, no point in putting my face back on the screen at this point because I got articles to read too, so I'll have to take it back off then. So here's a GFS model, and again, this is like more than 3 days out. Maybe for the I-95 quarter, I mean, there's gonna be some snow on the backside. It can't just vanish. Okay, so you'll probably end as a few flakes at the least for the I-95 quarter. Okay, then that is getting on out of here, and let's look at winter weather. Total accumulated snowfall. And there's your snowfall totals. GFS actually kind of went up from the last run. It went from under an inch to about an inch to 2 inches. Places like Delaware, northeastern Maryland, southeastern Pennsylvania, and parts of central Jersey. So that's a little upgrade for you guys. And they're calling for 2 to 3 inches for New York City, actually. Boston, only about an inch for you for the GFS. But again, GFS was saying that a foot of snow for the I-95 at first for this storm. So GFS is becoming a model that can fluctuate like each model run. So they're a very tricky model run. They're kind of like the NAM. They're very tricky, kind of sneaky. And in terms of ice, there we go. Oh, we can see some light ice places like southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of southern New England. But the heaviest ice will be in northern New England, northern Pennsylvania, New York, New Hampshire. We can see, oh my goodness, talk about over ½ inch of ice. That's treacherous. Now, again, same model, taking you through the north central here. And again, you can see the same kind of thing. Snow comes through. Well, that's a separate system. We won't count that in. So, in right between 72 and 84 hours, let's go to total snowfall. Okay, and total snowfall here. Okay, about 4 inches for Chicago, inch for Indianapolis, 2 inches for Cincinnati, maybe even 8 inches for Cleveland. Wow. Inch or 2 for St. Louis, maybe an inch for Des Moines if you're lucky. Now, now here's the Weather Channel, and a little article here. I know I have it zoomed out all the way, but even though it's zoomed out, when you look at these pictures, it's actually a little bit more zoomed in if you click the zoom out button. It's kind of weird. All right, so here's kind of like your little divider line. Get your moisture overriding it, kind of like your front, and your possible snow zone will spread east. And you got that big low, and that Arctic air will plunge south. So that's kind of your setup here. Okay, and looking at Tuesday's forecast. Again, some snow, and they're starting to add a mixing back for me in the I-95 corridor. Yay, I'm looking forward to it. Then even some snow trailing down the spine of the Appalachians. I will be watching Weather Channel now, but on the weekends they have limited program because they got their little shows starting at 1 o'clock. So, wham, I know. They'll have it back tomorrow. 5 to 8 inches, even up to a foot near Caribou. Up to a foot, not over a foot. Inch, 2 inches, maybe 3. Now, actually, the city of Nashville, especially just southeast of town, you're actually calling for rain. But especially if you live in the suburbs, whether it be the northwest suburbs or the northeastern suburbs of Nashville, you guys will have a better chance to pick up to an inch of snow. And again, inch or 2 for the Smoky Mountains. Heavier precipitation, whether it's rain or snow, will be felt farther north into the mid-Atlantic, Great Lakes, and Northeast. All right, real quick before we leave, AccuWeather. Okay, I'm not going to put their video on because it's like almost 5 minutes. But there's their map because their videos are longer. Like the Weather Channel's videos are like a minute. The AccuWeather's are like 4 or 5. You got snow here. Rain down here will transition to a brief period of snow. Because remember, it says mainly rain. Doesn't mean all rain. Unless you're like in Virginia where it will be all rain. Then in between, you got that little mixing area, of course. Okay, and probably... Oh, man. Okay, Great Lakes. AccuWeather Local Storm Max is their way of saying the top snowfall total is 30 inches. Okay, if it says 6 to 12, the most you're going to get is probably 15 or 18 at the most. With those lake effect snow bands. 20, maybe. I'll bet on it, but... And the temperatures are going to feel in the single digits and teens behind it, so... Can't wait for that. That's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I can get another update out before it's too late. So, thank you for watching. I'm the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time.